Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. Today's pick a card reading. We are going to do any sort of immediate message that Spirit wants you to hear right now at this moment. It can be whatever resonates with you and what you believe in, whether it's your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your ancestors, any sort of deity work, or even just from your higher self. This is going to be an intuitive message of what you need to hear right now. So actually with the piles, we're going to be doing this a little bit differently. I've actually went through all my different decks and I created 4 unique decks, and each deck is actually going to represent the element of either your sun sign or your rising sign. If you're not familiar with rising sign in astrology or you just don't know what your rising sign is, go ahead and feel free to pause the video, go on astro.com or any other website. If you want to get your rising sign, you're going to need your birth date, your location of where you were born, and the time. The time is the most important thing, especially when it comes to your rising sign. But if you don't want to do that, that is perfectly fine. It's whatever works for you. This will also work for your sun sign as well. So for for my air signs, we have our air pile right here. So that will be Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. We have our fire pile here, fire element pile. So that will be for our Aries, Leos, and Sagittariuses. We have our earth pile, so that will be for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And we have our water pile, which is for our Cancers, Scorpios, and our Pisces. I also have some other traditional tarot cards here, and I will intuitively feel out and see if I want to pull any for you guys. I also off camera have some oracle books for Bibliomancy. They're off camera right now, but if I feel called to it, I might grab one of them and see if there's a message in there as well. So yeah, let's get started. All right, everyone, this is for my air signs. So this will be for either my sun and or rising, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, sun or rising. So let's look at your oracle cards and let's see what we have to start with right off the bat before we add anything else. So we have here Fairy of the Highlands, it's time to be brave. This is from the Oracle of Shadows and Light. From the same deck we have Voodoo in Blue. Back off. Let me see if I can get the focus. There you go. From the Work Your Light Oracle deck, we also have Leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. The Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. And then from Crystal Spirits Oracle deck, we have Black Tourmaline. All right, here, guys. So let me see what we have going on here. Try to get everything here on frame. Okay. So right away, I'm seeing and sensing that for some of you guys, that there could be some issues in regards of taking a risk and with boundaries as well. Because right now I'm seeing with these two right here, it's time to be brave and the universe will catch you, that I believe that some of you guys, there is something that you guys have been wanting to work on. Perhaps there is something that maybe something that you've been putting off, maybe something that whether you realize it consciously or subconsciously, have been procrastinating, and that there might be some fear actually around this. Whatever it may be for you specifically. And I think the universe is just telling you that, you know, you are supported and that it's time to take a chance and to take a risk, whatever it may be, and that the universe has your back. And with the black tourmaline, you know, which if you're not familiar with this crystal, it's probably one of the strongest crystals in regards of just protection in general and grounding. So I think the message for you guys specifically, I think for a lot of you, is going to be about just kind of taking that chance, taking that risk, taking that golden opportunity, even if it's afraid, to trust that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to be, and that you're protected and you're being looked after. And even with this one here, you've been training for this for lifetime. So I'm definitely seeing and sensing that perhaps this has to do with maybe something you're meant to do, or maybe you've been hesitating, or you're not sure. Maybe there's been some confusion. You're not sure what your right path is, and maybe, and there's just kind of been a bit of a, yeah, just kind of a blockage. Maybe having a hard time believing in yourself, or perhaps certain things were in the way, but now they've cleared up, but you're still feeling this confusion. So I definitely am seeing absolutely whatever it is you're being called to do, even if it's scary, that to just kind of take a leap of faith and trust that, you know, whether it's a new business venture or a new skill or a new job. And I think with the back off, it's actually saying, you know, if you need to take a step back and really evaluate and kind of let go of your control, or that tendency within you of wanting to control everything. Because I'm kind of seeing with the leaf that perhaps you're not fully believing in yourself, or you're not trusting the process. You're not trusting, or you're too afraid of what could happen, or what you think may happen, or what you want to happen. You're too caught up in how you feel certain things should be and how they need to go. And I think it's definitely saying that you guys need to just kind of take a step back and, you know, trust and have certainty that things will work out the way they're supposed to be. So I'm definitely seeing that for you guys, for my air signs. Absolutely. And let's see, maybe some clarification. So we have the Hermit, and we have the Empress, and this is from the Fountain Tarot deck. Yeah, absolutely. So right here, back off and Hermit right here, absolutely. Definitely, I'm sensing this message that you need to like let go, or even take the time to even isolate yourself, or to just kind of take a moment within yourself to really do almost like a self-inventory in regards of what you believe, like what's holding you back, what are the lies that maybe you're telling yourself, discourage of yourself, or maybe just that fully not believing in yourself. Because I definitely think Spirit says whatever it is that I'm sensing that this is something that's been bugging you for a while. Like you've been thinking about doing this, you've been thinking about wanting to start this, whatever it may be for you specifically. And Spirit is saying, you know, to take a step back and know that, to take that chance, and that you will, and for those feeling confusion, you know, the best advice I was always told when it comes to confusion, if you're confused about whether something's, you know, once again, this is a general reading, but when it comes to certain life decisions, sometimes the best answer for that is to just go through with it in full force and just take a chance and go for it, because you can always course correct, but the answers that you're looking for are going to be lied on the other side, but you have to take that risk. You have to take that chance, and you have to trust that everything's going to work the way it's supposed to. And with the Empress, I do sense maybe for some of you people, this could be maybe a creative venture. So maybe, maybe you've always wanted to take an art class, or maybe you wanted to do some form of creative job full time, but you never felt like you could, or you weren't sure how. And with this creative energy and this very almost like successful energy, the Empress, there's definitely success waiting for you. I think you just have to take that chance and just take a step back and trust the universe and trust within yourself. Because, I mean, what's the worst case scenario? In a lot of these cases, you know, you could fail, but failure is part of life, and you can always course correct. And at the very least, I think most people would say, you know, I failed, but at least I knew, at least I took that chance and realized, you know, what it was meant to be, whether it was meant to be or not meant to be. And in the process of that failure, you become a stronger person, and you learn more. And if anything, you know what works and what doesn't work. So I'm definitely sensing that for you, my air signs, that, you know, whatever this may be, just take a chance and, yeah, just go for it and trust that everything will work out the way it's supposed to be, and you are being protected and you are being looked after on the other side. So let me see if there's anything else here. I think that might be it for you guys. Let me see here. Let me perhaps grab one of my oracle books. So let's see here. Forgive. Okay, so that one came at me right away. Forgive. So that's really interesting. And the other one that also stood out for me is this one right here. It says, after hours of giddy drinking and wild abandon, she found herself under the table in only her shoes. This is a really fun book, and the different little quotes in this one specifically. But yeah, it's almost kind of like, you know, I hear that, and I hear someone who in some way, shape, or form has let go of the need to control and for freedom. So perhaps for some of you guys, you have felt constricted in some sort of way. Maybe not being able to take a chance, or just not feeling like you've had the freedom to do this. Yeah, so I'm definitely sensing perhaps there's something deeper in regards of like your own personal freedom or your choice, or what, maybe obligations. Maybe you felt like you never could do this or that because of whatever obligations. And for the forgiveness, you know, perhaps some of you guys, you know, this is a general reading, but maybe for some of you, this is something that you've been thinking about, and perhaps you've been kicking yourself in the butt for not making the move or not doing it earlier, because you're now realizing, oh my gosh, like if I had just taken the chance then, or did that then, or whatever it may be for you specifically, you know, I could have been so much farther, or I could have been so much happier, or who knows, would have been away. And I think we do that a lot of the time when we procrastinate something that we know we want to do, but maybe we're too afraid or whatever, and then we kick ourselves for not doing that sooner. I think the universe is saying to forgive yourself and not to beat yourself up for hesitating, or, you know, maybe it didn't feel right at the time, and maybe for a legit reason it wasn't right at the time, but now it is, and it's time to forgive yourself and to let go of that guilt that you might be holding on, and just go head first and really go for it this time. Try and see if there's anything else here. No, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much. I really hope that resonated with you, and I will see you later. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, welcome for joining me today. So let's look at your oracle cards for my fire signs here, and we'll go from there and see if there's anything else we need to add. But let's look here. So for these are from the Foxfire Kitsune Oracle deck. So for this first one here, we have Call Forth the Waves. And for this one, the Garden of the Night. From the Goddess Power deck, we have Lazy Revelation. And Metis. I think I said that correctly. My apologies. With Wisdom. And this is from the Yogic Path Oracle deck. And this is the card of Aisma. I think Aimsa. I do apologize. I hope I might not have said that correctly. Iamsa. Yes, I probably should not keep trying because I don't think I'm going to get it correctly. I do apologize, guys. But so let me look at these real quickly. See what we have going on here energetically. Okay, guys. So right away, let's see here. So I think for some of you guys, the message I'm getting right away is I'm seeing a growth of self-power, or you're learning something about yourself, or maybe perhaps you're going through a spiritual awakening, or you're because the revelation. So I'm seeing right away that I think a lot of you guys are coming into your own personal power. And I think a lot of you are getting this from a lot of time working on yourself and a lot of self-inventory. Yeah. Because with the revelation and this card, so this represents the energy of compassion and nonviolence, and specifically the type of negativity that we usually put upon ourselves. So whether it's negative thoughts or limiting beliefs about ourselves or what we're capable of or worth or anything, that is what Iamsa, if that is correct. I'm sure someone will correct me. I do apologize for not saying that correctly. But that is what that energy is. It's about essentially, you know, being easy on yourself and right away, forgiving yourself and healing. So I do think that a lot of you guys are going through a lot of personal changes, and you're becoming smarter for it. You know, you're becoming wise, you're learning from your past mistakes, but you're also learning to forgive yourself and to move forward and to heal. So I do see that a lot of you are healing, and it's time to, and I think what the overall message I'm definitely getting here is to keep going, to keep diving deep. These revelations that you are experiencing, these revelations that, you know, I am worth it. I am smart. I am talented. I am resourceful. I am capable of doing whatever it is that I personally want to do. In the Garden of Night. So I definitely think some of you guys have been doing a lot of shadow work. So I think the message here is just kind of a confirmation in the sense like you're doing it, like keep it going. And now that you're realizing and you're growing as a person, you know, with the call forth of the ways, it's time to put that work into action. So whatever it is you're realizing, you know what, you know, for some of you guys, like, you know what, I am good enough for that job, or I am good enough for this, I am good enough for that. You know, it's time to use that work that you guys have been doing on yourself and empowering yourself and really going and getting what it is that you deserve. Because you do deserve, everyone deserves to achieve and have all the blessings and to live their dream life. So I think this is a message of to continue the work and to believe in yourself, and that's not going to be perfect. I definitely think with the Garden of the Night, the idea of the shadow work, you know, the work is never ever fully over. I think a lot of times some people forget that. Sometimes when we do this work, this huge self-inventory on ourselves, that there's almost like a destination, and then and then we're good. Like, we don't have to deal with anything else. That's not the case. I do find that, you know, once, you know, part of life is we continue to grow over time, even until we're of old age. And we're always learning, and we're always evolving and always becoming better versions if we're constantly putting that energy into bettering ourselves and to loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. I'm definitely sensing for a lot of you guys, this is definitely a lot of, in regards of like old limiting beliefs are being melted away about your work. I feel, this is a general reading, but I am sensing for a lot of you, it's about your personal worth and your personal capabilities, and that you do deserve to live the life that you want to live. Yeah, so I'm definitely seeing, you know, that it's not an easy path. You know, a lot of people do talk about when spiritually awakening and coming into your own, you know, it's not going to always be the easiest road. There can still be bumps and potholes and turns and sharp turns, but at the end of the day, you know, it's worth the work, and it's worth the journey of growth and achieving what it is you want to achieve. So I definitely am sensing that for sure. Maybe let's see if we'll grab this. This is the Good Tarot deck. So let's see if maybe there's some clarification or any sort of other specific messages or any sort of details. These are so thick. I don't know if you can tell. It's not as easy to shuffle these. These are very thick cards, so bear with me here. All right, so we have 5 of Fire and 8 of Earth. Okay, so let's sit here for a minute here. Let me see here. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely am seeing, perhaps there was some hesitation, perhaps there was some restriction or some doubts or some unsureness. And I think, you know, what it was specifically you guys are going through. Anytime I see Earth specifically, you know, a lot of times finances come in mind. So maybe for some of you, there were some stresses in regards of finances or material wealth or whatever it may be for you specifically. Or even for, you know, for some of you, I'm sensing just a restriction, just like maybe for some of you, you were always told by people what you can and cannot do, you know, or what was expected of you, or you can't do that. That's not a realistic career. That's not what you should do. You should do this. You should do that. You should go to college, or, you know, whatever it was for you specifically. I think a lot of you probably had a lot of chatter, and by a lot of people around you, whether they meant well or didn't mean well, they essentially, you know, this kind of discouragement of how you were supposed to live your life. And that was just not working for you. So perhaps even and I do feel maybe for some of you guys, for some of you, you have gone forth to achieve these things, but it's these limiting beliefs that perhaps these are the beliefs that you are these are the limiting beliefs that you have been dealing with, is knowing that, you know, yeah, I may not be choosing what is a quote unquote regular life or a regular job, regular career, but it's what I'm meant to do. And I'm definitely sensing that, you know, yeah, like if it, you know, if that's your life purpose and if that makes you happy, then you definitely need to go for it. And that there are gains, there are certain, you know, to not doubt yourself moving forward. You know, maybe that could be for some of you guys specifically, but that's what I'm sensing. Absolutely. And to continue on this taking care of yourself and believing in yourself and going after what it is that you want to go after. Let me see if any of the Bibliomancy books, let's see if there's maybe a message in this one here for you. All right, so for that one, I don't know if it's in focus, but it says, we don't need to comprehend our higher powers' plans for us. We just need to allow it. Yeah, I mean, that kind of just sounds, you know, if there's a higher purpose for you, that not only is your dream life, but also what's going to make you the happiest, like what you're meant to do. The concept of dharma, if you're familiar with that, that was the first thing that kind of came to mind, is living out your life's purpose and what you're meant to do. You know, you just need to allow it. Like these lies or these things that we have been telling ourselves, you know, they have not been helping. That's what I'm getting. It's like, it's just going to keep you stuck in that same energy of where you may be, or where you're working yourself out to be, or whatever it may be. You know, if you're not living your life's purpose. And to allow it to happen, or to work on yourself and to elevate and to align yourself to achieving that. And with that will come all the blessings and all that you want from life. So I think for a lot of you, yeah, I think it's just saying keep on going, keep doing the work. It's not going to be an easy route for sure. Obviously life will still have its complications, as life does, but I think it's just a word of encouragement for you guys. I think that's it. I'm seeing if there's anything else here. No, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. All right, hello everybody. This is for my earth signs. So let's look at your oracles real quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and see what we have and see if there's anything we need to add. So this is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. So here we have High Priestess, harness your mystic power. We have Mother Earth, feel loved and comfort. This is from the Enchanted Map Oracle. Intention. Okay. We also have encouragement. And then this is our Animal Spirit Oracle. Wolf Spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. All right. So I think I'm seeing right away for a lot of you. You know, it's so funny. So far, a lot of the messages have had a lot of similar, unique, but they've all have had a lot of similar themes in regards of kind of coming into your own inner power. I'm seeing right here, just right away from the High Priestess, harness your mystic power. So maybe for some of you guys, actually, for my earth signs, maybe some of you have started maybe delving into whether it's the law of attraction, maybe into the occult, or different pagan beliefs, reading up maybe on witchcraft and stuff like that, a lot of spirituality. So I'm seeing that perhaps for some of you, you've been starting to perhaps dive into that. Maybe you've got, or you're starting to read into it or start practicing it. I'm feeling for a lot of you have been pulled into that direction and turning that knowledge into wisdom. So I think I feel a lot of you have been reading up. You've been studying up, and you are using this information that you're learning in order to empower yourself or to become wiser and to become more knowledgeable of perhaps the world around you or the universe around you and how it may work, or how you can use that knowledge to empower and take a hold of your life. Because I feel with some of you guys, some of you may have been very discouraged in what was going on. Perhaps I see with encouragement and feel loved and comforted. So I'm sensing maybe for some of you, perhaps for some of you, you were losing faith. Perhaps you were starting to disengage, being discouraged, starting to doubt yourself, doubting your capabilities. Maybe I almost like sense like this idea of like this inner dialogue, like, what am I doing? Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I living my life's purpose? You know, I've been working so hard for these things, and yet it feels like I'm getting breadcrumbs. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like for some of you, that you've been doing a lot of work, and you've been doing a lot of, I feel like you guys just been feeling discouraged, and that for so many of you, you've been working so hard, and yet you just feel like you haven't received enough in return for as much work as you've been giving. You haven't been receiving quite to what you feel like you deserve. And you definitely deserve everything you work for, achieving your dreams and living your dream life. You absolutely deserve all the things you want in your life, for sure. And this is perhaps a road you are starting to explore. And for me, I'm actually seeing this as a positive thing, as, you know, you're taking, because it's not like sorry, there was a couple different things. So I definitely sense that this is a good thing for a lot of you guys, because you are starting to, because you're becoming wiser, you're learning and you're becoming wiser, and you're becoming stronger into yourself and into your own power. Although I did see, what stopped me there was the message necessarily, like, but don't overdo it. Like, don't be, to always have the right intention. There we go. And intention in that type of work, or any sort of spiritual work, or even if it's not necessarily spiritual work, even just within our jobs or in our relationships and everything around us, it's all about the intention. And the intention should be pure. And I think the most important thing about intention here is that, okay, so now I definitely see the overall picture here is what you need to work on. I believe the message is, when you set these intentions and you're becoming smarter and you're becoming wiser and you're learning and getting into your own inner power and realizing you are capable of creating the life and the reality that you want, to achieve that, it's going to be all about the intention. And that the most important thing is what you are desiring, or what you do want to bring into your life, that you can't be controlled by. You can't be so consumed by certain things you want in your life. Not that you can't have a desire for these things, but it's almost like when you set an intention, you almost have to have a sense of detachment, which I know sounds kind of the opposite, but it's almost this idea of you desire these things and you want these things, but I don't need them. you have to be in a state of receiving. I think for some of you, you've been in this state of just giving, like going for it, and taking a step back in order to receive. And part of that is a sense of detachment. You know, obviously, if you want, perhaps you want to get that job. This is just an example. You want to get that job and you want it, but you don't want it too much. You can't be controlled by that desire, or else it almost repels it. Or when you put things on a pedestal, it sends out that energy that you are in lack of, that you don't have it in your life. So, and that's, I think, kind of an issue that I am seeing for a lot of you guys, is you having giving so much but you're not receiving enough, or you don't feel like of all the hard work you're doing, you're not receiving to what you feel like you deserve or where you should be at this moment. And I think the message I'm getting loud and clear is, when you set these intentions, to know when to step back and to receive, and to not be controlled or triggered in a lot of senses by these desires, to be able to, you know, to keep working for them, but almost like, and it sounds like the most opposite advice, but act as though like you don't need them as much as you may want them. You don't need them. And it's that state of receiving, which I believe, I'm sure someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but the state of receiving in a weird way is kind of a negative energy, in that it's because you're not necessarily repelling it away, but you're not going too hard. Kind of in dating and relationships, what's the number one common thing I think a lot of people will say is, oh, the people that are into me or attract me, I'm not into them, but the people who I want, they seem to not care. So, you know, that's a very generalized, simplified way of putting that, but that specific kind of mindset, I think, is kind of what you need to work on. And just feel love and comfort, and know that you will achieve everything you deserve. But I think for a lot of you, you have to make sure you're setting your intentions correctly, and knowing what is driving these intentions. Is it because you want to achieve and elevate your life, or is it to prove something to yourself or to prove something to other people? So I think that's the main message I'm getting for you guys. I don't feel like I need to call in any other cards, any of the tarot cards. I think that was very loud and clear. Perhaps maybe something from one of the oracle books, but that was loud and clear. I was not anticipating that. But let's see anything from the daily oracle book. Okay. Focus on protecting your energy before you worry about everything else. Yeah, that kind of just says it right there. Like, when you're being controlled to the point where you're consumed by a desire, what you're trying to achieve, you're letting, you've lost control of your energy. You've given it too much into something that hasn't happened or is not currently present, even though you want to bring it in. So that right then and there just says, you need to take your power back. You need to bring your energy back, and whatever it is that you've been, to take your energy back and not be so consumed in achieving and that sense of neediness, in a sense. And that might sound a little harsh for some of you, but that's what I'm kind of sensing is, because when you do that, you are giving away your energy and being so consumed by the outcome, or what it is you feel like you want to achieve, or what you feel like it needs to look like, or what it feels like it has to be a certain way. And part of that is taking back your own personal power and not being controlled. That idea of like, I don't need it, I desire it, and I want it, and I want to I want to let achieve these things and have them flourish and have them last for a long time, but I'm not consumed by it. Yeah. Seeing if there's anything else, but I think that's it for you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I really hope that resonated with you guys, and I will see you later. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me for my water sign. So let's look at your oracle cards real quick, and then we're going to decide, and I'll feel out and see if I need to add anything else. But so these are from the Whispers of Lord Ganesha oracle deck. So here we have Promise of the Future. Well, that's a good start. This is from the Oracle of the Mermaids. Here we have, trying to hold that clear for you guys, Receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to give. Okay. We have Freedom, Independence, Self-determination. Okay. This is from the Kuan Yin Oracle deck. Here we have Hear the Yellow Tiger Mother. This one here, Sacred River Yangtze. Hopefully I said that correctly. I do apologize if I didn't. All right, so let's see. All right. So I'm definitely sensing for some of you that right now, you guys are really, for my water signs here, you're very focused on the future. Particularly with, you know, looking at the Freedom card and looking at the card, the Promise of the Future, I definitely see a lot of you guys have been putting a lot of work into your personal dreams and your personal goals and achieving that. Perhaps some of you are musically. I was just looking at this one with the instruments. So maybe some of you, remember this is a general reading, but some of you are very musically inclined. Maybe you're musicians or you're songwriters or producers in a sense. So there's definitely a creative energy in that sense here. A lot of you guys have really taken the time to find your self-expression and using that towards bettering your future in some way. And that you have been very persistent, very determined, very, I feel like it's almost been consuming you in the sense that you've been so tunnel vision and focusing on your career and focusing on what it is you want to achieve. That I think there might be some imbalance going on right now in your life. So, because I'm looking at receptivity and it says allow yourself to receive, but also allow it to give. So I think the biggest message I'm seeing for you guys is while, you know, focusing on your future and focusing whatever your goals and your dreams, you know, your self-expression, whether it's music or maybe some other creative aspect of writing or art or drawing. Maybe for some of you, you're actors or filmmakers, whatever it may be. I think some of you are starting to realize, or the message you need to hear is there needs to be a balance. Because I do feel for some of you that you have been so consumed that perhaps some other aspects in your life are also suffering. Maybe you have not been seeing your friends as much. Maybe for some of you, you've been putting off maybe some romantic relationships or personal relationships in that sense. And, you know, of course, if you don't feel like you're ready, you know, for those types of things, but I do feel for some of you, there is an imbalance that you've just kind of been so focused where it's like, well, I can't have these other things in my life. I can't do this. I can't do that. But I do feel for some of you, this might be suffering in some of your relationships, particularly your personal relationships. I see that that might be taking a bit of a toll on them. And, you know, and I think there just needs to be the trust. I'm sensing that you need to have the trust of the sacred energy, the sacred flow of energy, that everything will happen in divine timing. Everything will happen in due time. And as much as you can work hard and focus and put all your energy and attention into something, you can't mess with divine timing. Things will come into your life when they're meant to. But in order to speed up that process, you have to be aligned properly. There needs to be a balance. And so allowing yourself to receive and also allowing yourself to give, you have to be aligned and have this balance in your... I'm sensing for some of you, this could be maybe not for all of you, but finding that balance of your work professional, your dreams, as well as your relationships in your life, that might help you get into better alignment than maybe you think. And abandoning or not putting any sort of energy into these relationships is actually perhaps doing more harm than good. And that, you know, and with that divine timing, you know, you can do everything you want, but if it's not happening, you know, there needs to be a trust that things will happen in due time when they're supposed to. And that consuming yourself and trying to force an outcome and putting, you know, it's almost like the all-in mentality in certain ways. While it's great to be focused and determined and being consistent, you know, you have to, it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. So don't disregard the other people in your life who care about you or love you just because of it. And you might be doing more harm than good. I'm going to grab, these are the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. I'm going to see if there's maybe something in here for you guys. So faith and beauty. Okay. So that's interesting. All right. So I'm seeing here. Yeah. So this definitely goes in with the divine timing, the card of faith, trusting things are going to happen for you, but you can't force things. You have to trust that, you know, I think a lot of times, a lot of people, we have this mentality of, you know, of just kind of just that work hard, play later, or so consumed by, oh, well, let me do the work now and have no time for any sort of simple things or any sort of enjoyments in my life until I achieve this goal. And that's not a healthy balance. Like when we were talking about giving and receiving, especially when it comes to the people, your personal relationships specifically, you know, that just, you know, that's what I'm sensing here with beauty. It's almost like you need to appreciate some simpler things in life, whether it's, you know, you can still stay focused and determined, but maybe have one day where that's my day where I see my friends, or maybe I go out on that date or whatever, or see my family, whatever it may be. I'm definitely sensing there needs to be some balance, because I think another thing, and oh, wow. Okay. So another thing I'm also seeing too is, also, you know, whatever it is that you're working on, to also allow other things that give you just as much pleasure and joy. Because if you're so consumed by this one thing, then there's no other enjoyment going on in your life. So say something going on within that career path or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you know, maybe doesn't go the way you want it to. You know, what will usually help you move forward or become stronger is, okay, you know what, you know, I didn't have a good day here. I didn't have a good day at work, or, you know, that was a failure in some sort. But, you know, I at least have this. So I'll just like put my attention towards this. Having multiple different interests and having multiple different things going on in your life. And enjoying more beauty in your life and taking care of yourself as well. Self-care right then and there, that came out just as much. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty clear answer. Yeah, so just, you know, I think you just need to have more faith that you don't need to work too hard to achieve what you want. Like, you should obviously be focused and determined, but I'm sensing for some of you guys, you're working too hard, and you don't need to work too hard, if that makes sense. I know that sounds like kind of a ridiculous comment in a certain light, but that's the message I'm getting right away is, you know, there is such thing as too much of a good thing, too much energy, too much focus, being very narrow-minded, narrow-mind-sighted, or sorry, the mentality of just being so focused on one thing, everything else around you kind of crumbles. I think Spirit is definitely telling you to knock it off, and you need more balance, and your other aspects in your life can suffer greatly if you don't have that balance, even if it's just simply having that day or having that time where you don't think about it. It's like, this is my day off from that to enjoy the other things in my life. Absolutely. I'm going to grab one of my book oracle decks. So I got this one right here. So I am going to see if there's anything else in here. So right away, the first one I saw that caught my eye, if you have a spirit, lose it. Lose it to return where, with one word, we came from, now thousands of words, and we refuse to leave. So that's from the Rumi. Don't doubt yourself. That was the other one that just popped up. So both of those right there, hopefully they resonate with you. Oh, there goes the book falling on the ground. My apologies for that, guys. But yeah, I am guessing to not doubt yourself. Maybe for some of you guys, you're working so hard because it's almost overcompensation, where you're not believing enough in yourself, or that you are doing enough and that you don't need to do the 5 extra miles. Because it's one thing to go far and beyond, but I'm sensing for a lot of you guys, you're almost doing like a second marathon on top of another marathon. So I think that, and yeah, absolutely. I think it's just to not doubt yourself and to believe you are enough and you're doing enough, and it will come to you in due time. And that, and the other little message, it just kind of felt like a simplicity, like, you know, with beauty, you know, just kind of bringing back that, you know, that time where it's just like to yourself, or where you just kind of take a break, or you don't even think about it. What else here? I'm seeing if there's anything else here. No, I think that's it. Awesome. I really hope that resonated with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.